Hello and welcome back, and thank you for tuning in. You are currently watching the Skill Building Sunday Drawing Group here at the Reinventing the Tattoo Network, started on August 7th at 1 p.m. I'm your host, Jason Leeser. If this is working for you, please let us know in the comments and in the chat area. And welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real-world events, to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on-demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You can find us on both the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, as well as YouTube and Facebook. You can catch all of our replays available on the Roku channel, reinventingthetattoo.com/Roku. Or you can listen to our podcast on all of the usual places, such as Apple and Spotify. As always, you can get the latest event schedule, all of the notifications so you don't miss your favorite shows, as well as the Reinventing 24/7 TV channel, all available at www.reinventingthetattoo.com, which actually links out to everywhere. So it's a pretty awesome resource to remember. Once again, if this is working for you, please let us know in the comments and in the chats. And hey, tag a friend who loves tattoos. Help us get the word out. We have a number of weekly staple shows we always encourage people to tune into, starting here on Sundays at 1 p.m. with the Skill Building Sunday Drawing Group hosted by me, Jason Leeser. And that's followed on Mondays with four separate shows. Sorry, I almost forgot one of them. On Monday at 9 a.m., we have Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom, where we go through and discuss some basic drawing techniques and strategies that we all should be revisiting every now and then just to keep our art skills up. And that's followed on Mondays at 11 a.m. with the Tattoo Weekly, hosted by Lauren Gregory, Jake Meeks, and Gabe Ripley. That's followed on Mondays at 5 p.m. with Let's Talk About Feelings with Robbie Ripple. And Mondays at 9 p.m., we have a subscribers exclusive drawing group with Guy Aitchison himself. If you are a subscriber to the Guy Aitchison Reinventing the Tattoo Canon or the Reinventing the Tattoo Evolution course, this does come with that, so please take advantage of it. I found a lot of great use for it personally. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And you can see a difference in the work that I am doing. Highly recommend it. Take a look. You can't go wrong. Tuesdays at 10 a.m., we have the Tuesday Feels Drawing Group with Ricardo Sertivant, a very good friend of mine, incredibly talented artist, one hell of a tattooer too, where we go through and discuss some basic philosophical things that we all tend to deal with in life. All tattoo related and business related, different inspirational things. Where do we find inspiration? What keeps us going? How do we keep that momentum going? It's all discussed on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. with the Tuesday Feels Drawing Group. Wednesdays at 1 p.m., we have the Tattoo Now show hosted by Gabe Ripley, where we do a deeper dive into the business aspect behind tattooing, start to discuss things more like financial stability, saving, marketing, advertising, things of that nature. That's all followed on Thursdays at 6 p.m. with the Tattoo Collecting 101 podcast, hosted by Fawn Baker. And it is absolutely awesome. So if you're interested in collecting tattoos from different artists, tune in. It's really great, very informative, and it's going to teach you a lot about what to look for when you're collecting tattoos. I would like to go through and take a second to thank some of our sponsors and the people that make this happen. Starting with Rawpigments, an ink company that's tapping into the source, rawpigments.co. Rawpigments is acrylic-free, vegan-friendly, heavy metal-free. It saturates the skin super well, and the colors stay super vibrant for a really, really long time. It's more powder based than it is the micro dispersed, which a lot of companies have been moving towards. This is a lot more like the old school powder that you would pick up. It's absolutely incredible. Because it saturates the skin so well, that leads to better healing and better tattoos. I highly recommend you take a look at Rawpigments at rawpigments.co. And that's followed by worldtattooevents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. They're constantly keeping everything up to date because, as we know, in this post-pandemic world, certain tattoo events and conventions are still getting rescheduled like crazy. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest information about shows going on around the globe, take a look at worldtattooevents.com. DLize Pro, also known as Dermalize in the rest of the world, protect your art. If you're still using plastic wrap to wrap your tattoos after you're finished with them, it's probably time to step your game up. DLize Pro was designed by wound care specialists and is designed specifically to help you heal your tattoos. Take a look at DLize Pro. And tattoonow.com, technology for tattooers, the leading edge in SEO and professional development for tattooers of all levels, and they're now accepting new clients. So if you've ever wondered how you can really start attracting the clientele that you really want to tattoo, this is the way to do it. They will get you all set up to help drive more of the business you want to do towards you. Take a look at Tattoo Now. And of course, this wouldn't be Reinventing the Tattoo without a very personal and professional thank you to the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo, Guy Aitchison. Thank you so much for all that you have done for tattooing and the tattoo community in general. You can find all of his stuff, all of his biomech encyclopedias for purchase, DVDs. He's got some custom coil machines, some original oil paintings, countless fine art prints, all available at guyaitchison.com. Would also like to go through and say a very quick thank you and shout out to two of our affiliates, the Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy Nichols and the Fireside Tattoo Network hosted by Jake Meeks. As always, we always ask that if you do enjoy the content on this program, please go through and post a positive review on the channel. Please post some positive comments on the videos. Help us get the word out. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event or become a sponsor of our community, or maybe you're looking for a fine art critique or a tattoo critique, all of this and more is available. All you have to do is send us an email at management@reinventingthetattoo.com. And welcome to today's show. So far, we've got, looks like Medusa's with us and Pat McKay's here. What's up, Pat? We've got Amber Morgaine in the YouTube comments coming through. Awesome. Thank you very much.
What's going on, dude?
What's going on?
Shit, working on something else today.
Oh, are you now?
I started a little Raven guy.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, me likey.
Thank you. I gotta redo this stuff down here once I get down there, but so far I'm pretty pleased.
Hell yeah, man. I really like the direction you're taking that in.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super stoked.
I finished up that chrysanthemum I was painting up, so now I'm revisiting an older project, trying to get that up and off the ground. And I do have I do actually have like a legitimate topic for today, which I almost never have ready to go. But I figure it's something that, you know, a lot of people always question about it. And they always are wondering, especially early on in their tattoo career, you know, am I pricing things correctly? Right. And pricing artwork is something that a lot of people struggle with. I still struggle with it a bit to this day, but it's something that as we gain more confidence in our abilities, in our skills, the longer we've been doing this, you know, we want to know how we can really go through and price a little bit more accurately so that way maybe we're not shooting ourselves in the foot every time. Maybe we're not scaring away too many of our clients because we're like, oh yeah, that's $1,000. you know. So it is something that I did want to bring up. Also, I would like to mention an Instagram page that I think is absolutely phenomenal for information about this kind of stuff. It does deal more with gallery painting, but it's definitely stuff that can apply to the tattoo world as well. And I'll actually go through and share my screen. Where is my... Cool. So this is an Instagram page called Artwork Archive. They are extremely informational, and they've got all types of absolutely golden information on here. Once again, it's more fine art related and fine art directed, but they've got incredible insight into questions that we all find ourselves asking, right? Like, what to say if a customer says your art is too expensive? How would we address that situation? Well, they've got some great insight on different ways to address it. Practical advice, 8 things successful artists refuse to do. It's absolutely incredible. I follow this page religiously. And they made a post recently called Ground Rules for Pricing Your Art. And that's something that, it's pretty critical. When you're pricing your artwork, you want to make sure that it's going to be appropriate. You want to make sure that you're not going to scare people away, but that you're charging a fair amount. Take a look at this post. It's got some great insight into some really interesting ways to go about doing it. You can price by the time. I'm just going to skim through these real quick so that we can get into working on artwork. How much do you like it? Based on comparison. So you want to make sure it's marketable and it's, it's comparable to other industries and other quality work that's being put out on the same kind of level. For example, I wouldn't go through and price myself on Nico Hurtado's level because I'm not producing the type of work that Nico Hurtado is producing. I would keep that more to myself and price based more on a different type of level because I am not at that kind of a level to be able to charge what he charges. Or you can do more consistently. You can price it based on square inch, right? This is a very old school method of pricing tattoos that was tried and true and time tested literally for decades. You would go in and you would ask how much something is, and they would hold it up to a big grid. They would count out the number of squares and they would say, okay, at this much per square, here's the design. It's going to be X amount of dollars, and this goes through and talks to you a little bit more about that. When is it time to give yourself a raise? I try to give myself like a little bit of a bump, not quite as much as 10%, but just a little bit of a bump, a couple bucks an hour every 6 months. To me, it works out a little bit easier that way. Framing, are you going to sell your artwork framed? Obviously, this part doesn't apply to tattoos, but if you're selling original artwork or prints or maybe flash designs and flash sheets, are you going to sell it with a frame or without a frame? Right? And how does that factor into the price of the artwork? Always make sure you have everything documented, right? You want to make sure that if someone goes through and tries to sell a painting that you created early on in your career, right, as their own for a lot more money, you want to be able to turn around and say, no, I was the one that painted that. I own the rights to that. Or I was the one that painted that as a commission for this person. Now, granted, it gets a little bit more tricky when we're talking about like digital artwork, because there's nothing really physically there for you to document per se. right? But document everything anyway, because you're going to need to show proof of that if, tax man comes knocking. So, but once again, this is all available on the Instagram page, Artwork Archive. Highly recommend you follow and take a look. Very inspirational, very insightful. Highly recommend everyone goes through and takes a follow of it. So, yeah. All right, now I'm going to start working on this older painting, but I did want to bring that up because I found it to be really, really insightful. The old school method of pricing by square inch still applies. There are still a lot of places that do it that way. And I think it's an absolutely fantastic and genius way to do it because it keeps everything fair, right? You're no longer going through and sitting down and saying, oh, well, I'm going to estimate it's going to take this much time, especially early on in your career. You don't want to go through and make a bad estimate and say, oh, well, I think it's only going to take me an hour and it ends up taking you 3. If you price more by the square inch and you say, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I can tell you it's going to be this much money. That's a fair way to do it. If you price, $15 per square inch or $10 per square inch, that's the price for this tattoo. I'm going to focus on quality. You're going to get a quality piece out of it. It's going to take as long as it takes, and I'm not going to rush it. There's your price. It gets a little bit more tricky when you get into like paintings and selling large scale artwork because, like I've got a 6 foot by 3 foot canvas, right? I wouldn't charge $10 per square inch for the 6 foot by 3 foot canvas painting. No one would be able to afford it. Well, no one that I know, at least. I mean, maybe you guys know people out there with money like that, but
how much would that come out to?
That's a good question. Let me do some mathing on that real quick. Pull up my calculator app because I'm not very good at mathing. So 36 times 72 times 10. So if I were to go through and sell that at $10 per square inch, it'd be about $25,000.
Sick.
I don't know too many people that have 25 G's just sitting around. Yeah. So it kind of is what it is. Usually for things like that, I cut people a break. If it's a large scale commissioned work of art, I'll break that down. And the bigger it goes, the less per square inch I'll actually charge. I try not to do that with tattooing just because I find I shoot myself in the foot more often than not. I'm not going to give someone a crazy price break on like a large scale back piece because that's going to take a lot of time. So just a little bit of insight for everyone. If you're still new with, getting into tattooing, if you're still building a clientele base, start off by going by the square inch. Take your time with it. Do it right. Make sure all those tiny little imperfections that are there aren't there. Learn to master your technique while still getting paid a fair amount. Especially I know for myself, when I first started, I couldn't estimate how long it would take me to do a tattoo to save my life. My estimates were not accurate in any aspect. I was terrible at it. But I took my time, I did it right. I put in the work and, put in the time on the technique, and it's paid off. And now that I know what pace I can execute things at, now I have a better estimate as far as, oh, it's probably going to take me 3 hours or for something like that half sleeve that you're looking at, it'll maybe take me 12 to 15 hours. And if that's outside someone's budget, well, I can explain to you why I'm that expensive. But that's all up to the individuals, and what they can afford. But that's something that's usually discussed during the consultation to begin with. We got Ricardo in the hizzy.
What up?
What up, Ricardo?
Hey, Ricky.
What up, Medusa? What up, Jason?
What up, homie?
Hold on one second. How you guys doing?
Very good.
I am living the dream, or
That's
the
awesome.
nightmare, whichever. I haven't quite figured that part out yet, but
I kind of feel you there.
I mean, you're in it, so it can't be a nightmare, right?
It's
But
a
then
dream,
there's
that's
me.
for sure. And then there's you. What do you mean? What does that mean?
That's the nightmare part.
Oh, good Lord. You don't need that.
Yeah, but Pat's here, so now Pat and Kyle are both here. So now
Okay.
I'm actually wondering if this is more of like a fantasy.
Oh.
Hey.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yep.
Kyle,
A little bit of both.
yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Right on, right on.
An adventure.
Yeah, well,
you
it's
go.
something.
Yeah.
Cool.
My dog is being extra cuddly right now, so I can't draw. I don't make the rules.
Gotta give love when it gets brought to you, huh?
Shut that off. That way there's no glare.
So you said this is an older piece that you're working on?
Yeah, it's something I started back in, I want to say earlier this spring. Maybe last winter or last fall.
I remember seeing that piece around.
Yeah, it's something, it's been a work in progress for a little while. Sometimes I like to do that and put things down for a while. Sometimes I like to, just bust them out and see them through to the end if I have a lot of momentum.
Yeah, I've been on a bit of a painting kick recently, just trying to get a bunch of stuff out so I can start doing some art shows and make some prints and whatnot.
Oh yeah, man.
Remember to
Yeah, that's,
focus on quality, not quantity.
So
Yeah,
I've
no,
actually been
I've got
working
the
on,
quality part down.
I've been working on a big project that's like a combination of a lot of different things. I'm trying to get 25 designs together that are all like 4x6 or smaller to print them all out on one big piece of paper, like one big flash sheet,
That'd be cool.
right? Like a whole bunch of different like jammer pieces for like shows and whatnot. Just one big ass piece of flash. And then, maybe I'll sell prints of that or something, but it's been absolutely taxing just trying to find inspiration for all of these different things. Because I don't want to have too many skulls. I don't want to have too many potion bottles. I don't want to have too many tiger claws. I don't want to have too many of any one given thing. So like I was recently on a dragon claw kick and I was drawing like 6 or 7 different dragon claws and it was great. I loved it. And I was like really in the zone with it. And then I realized that like, if I kept going, I'm just going to draw like a whole big thing of dragon claws. And that's not what I was really trying to do. So I had to force myself to get out of that and get into something else. So it's been a lot more difficult than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. that? Where's my good quill brush? Yeah, I'd eventually like to maybe expand it out and have like, I don't know, maybe if other people in the Reinventing crew wanted to get a couple of little like 4x6 at 600 DPI images together on Procreate, maybe we could do like one big Reinventing the Tattoo flash sheet, you know, and we could all like throw something in there. I think that would be a really cool idea, but like sometimes the ideas that I have that I think are really cool aren't really cool. So like I look for a lot of feedback.
That sounds like a good idea. I like
That
that.
sounds like a super fun idea. Kyle and I need to get back on track with the flash sheet we've been talking about making. We like went
Yeah.
off the rails there. Both of us
We
got
do
super
some
busy at
thumbnails
work.
out and then nothing ever happened.
Yeah. Well, both of us got super busy with work, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that summer rush at work. Ugh.
No, it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's tiring. It's a lot of work.
That's called life, Medusa.
But yeah, okay.
Sorry to disappoint you, but that's just known as life.
Yeah. Yeah. At least it's fun. There are definitely jobs that I could have that aren't fun.
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
Been a little while for me, but yeah, me too.
I had more than enough of those.
Then again, in my mind, $20 is $20. So that should be
Just
better.
looking good.
Oh,
What's everybody
now
else
we're
working?
cooking.
What's everybody
Sorry.
else working on today?
I'm trying to get my phone set up here, or my. I'll show you in a little bit. I just have to change a bunch of passwords. So I think I almost got hacked. I'm not sure.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
You
so,
could
yeah.
give Geek Squad a call.
No.
You know, the same guy that helped you fix your password issue last time.
Yeah. That's you.
I'm working on that black and gray assignment for the heart. Sweet.
Oh yeah. I'm working on designing a tattoo for today that I have to readjust. There's some things in it that aren't the way I want them to be. Black Phillip themed, so that's fun.
Fuck yeah. I'm working on this raven that I showed Medusa and Jason earlier.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, buddy. Oh,
Hey.
Seth Mushrust just joined. We got a whole party in here today.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, Mushrush.
Shh, shh. I think he's in. I think he is he connected? I think he can hear us now. Quick, stop talking about him.
Smooth move, guys.
It was all good things, I think.
You know what? Let's cut the
Oh, then I know you guys are lying.
Is this audit
Yeah, well, someone's got to keep you humble.
in another truer sense?
Let me see. Let me switch this around. Oh, we want to go to landscape mode, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Let's see here. Should I be doing a lot of this? Yeah,
So
yeah, there you go. You can do that. Yeah. Yeah,
In the
that's
YouTube
perfect.
comments, Amber just commented, I'm working on a watercolor over pencil.
I love about Sam.
Nice.
Very interesting.
Oh, is that his wife and every guy?
Yeah. Oh no, the other one is. Let me flip this around, guys.
Okay, if you want this company to survive, you need
And of course, Seth's the only one that's actually being productive in tattooing. So
Gotta keep
as
it going.
usual, showing off.
wasted time. And then no amount of points
All the
actually
time.
available expenditure requested.
No rest for the wicked.
Never any rest for the wicked.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't you two both.
Let's see.
If you guys can swagger around all you want.
Wish I could get, let me see if I can get this on here. What are you guys working on today?
You're dead in a month. That's a fact.
Just trying to, well, we actually just went through all of that.
Yeah, you're late.
I'm late. Never.
Yeah,
We already did that, Seth.
you know,
Oh.
Seth, you can catch the replays and find out.
That sounds good. I'll do that. I'm good with it.
I'm just working on an old painting that I started back a while back and haven't gotten around to finishing up because I got distracted with other things.
Yeah.
Not one I gave him for a long time. He broke up with me.
That equals.
Yeah, painting Japanese finger waves can really be a pain in the ass sometimes.
You got to get into that zone where it's just like you're not even there. Your hands just doing the movement for you.
And take it. I'm very flattered.
Yeah, that's what I try to do every now and then, but like,
Hey, Andy.
you know, sometimes I actually have to like pay attention to like broadcasting and stuff.
No, can it be
Comments.
The responsibility.
Oh yeah.
dress made out of meat? I do all that. But that bitch is crazy. One lecture and
That bitch is crazy.
She is.
You leave me out of this.
I signed into my computer, but it's not working. I don't have the link.
I think I have an idea that this thing's on.
There's the opacity.
Yeah, I was working on the homework assignment from Monday night throughout a bit of this week and ended up turning it into one of my flash designs for the large sheet.
Just guns.
Why do you have so many guns?
Ricardo's working hard as always. He probably just did a 3-minute sketch that looks like a Caravaggio.
Here, I'll show you real quick.
Hell yeah, man.
I don't know
I'll
if you can
spotlight
see
you.
it or not.
Big.
Trying to get. Can you guys see all of it? Or is that too
Oh yeah, dude.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Very
Oh
nice.
yeah, dude.
That is fucking sick.
Flying Falcon.
Way to
Yes, ma'am.
go. Killing it
Ricardo.
as always, Ricardo.
Way to go, Ricardo. Trying to get my laptop hooked up, but it's not working. I can't find the link in my laptop. So, but I'm trying to play with like that, the dimensional with like 2D flat kind of shapes and images, you know, tone of audio.
Right on.
Yeah.
Ricardo,
Yes.
For me, when
I'm a big fan of like what we were just talking about. I love when people are mixing like that kind of 2D, real graphic, traditional look, like ultra bold, like beyond what it actually should be.
Yes.
With, like a soft, realistic image or something to go along with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
See, like cherry blossoms with like looks like it's outlined with a Sharpie that has the tip cut off. But then,
Right.
you know, then you got this really like ultra smooth portrait in the middle.
Mhm.
Stuff wild.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I've been
dig it,
seeing
man.
a lot more stuff like that around lately.
Yeah, I love it. I'm glad it's starting to get popularized. I would love to try some stuff like that. Don't usually get the opportunity to kind of take it as it comes.
Yeah, I don't get an opportunity for it either, so I decided that I'm gonna start doing some more floral stuff and start kind of like using that to embellish, draw that out, you know.
Hell yeah, dude. Can't
That's
ever
just-
go wrong with floral work, ever.
No, it's fun. It's been a lot of fun lately. I've also been getting into just using 3-liners for the shading and stuff too.
Just getting some of that stipple dot shading in there.
You can laugh. That's fine.
You sure?
Yeah. Let it go.
Yeah, that
Stipple
little
dot
3-liner
shading.
shading, man, that stuff can be tricky sometimes, getting the right amount of dots with the right value in the right places.
Yep. Agreed.
It's so fun though.
It is fun.
Have you ever tried a 4-liner for that?
I haven't.
No.
4s are interesting. It's definitely more of a square line, but you can still fit it in like real tight areas and you're getting a little bit less skin trauma. I used to, you know, back in the day when us old people used to make needles, it's just kind of something that got popular and all of a sudden everybody was using 4s for a while, even for outlining and stuff. I've never, I mean, it's been a long time since I've used one, but I would imagine using it for tighter areas might be a little less traumatic to the skin than a 3. And you can still fit it in tight spots.
Yeah, I think
Anybody
the
have
problem that we
traveling?
would run into with that is finding a cartridge supplier that actually makes 4s.
Yeah, that's the guys at the shop at Baker Street were using they were using them on bars, which I do not use, but I know a lot of people have like those hybrid machines where you can run both.
Yeah, I was looking at one of those the other day, found a pretty decent deal on one, and I was almost ready to pull the trigger on it, but then I was like, I kind of stopped for a second and thought to myself, like, I already have enough machines. Do I really need another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I'm sitting on a box of probably 20 some odd coil machines. Lord knows how many different like rotary and pen machines I have sitting at the studio in a drawer. Do I really need to spend the money on another one? My
It's
old
something-
brain used to say, yes, you can never have too many.
Yeah.
But
Well, the thing is,
something,
with cartridge machines, they're so versatile that like I feel like you get 1 or 2 machines, you can do the same thing as like 7 or 8 different coil machines.
oh, without question.
And I'm old school,
I think
man. I
the
love
thing-
coils, but I do not like how tired my wrists were getting and my fingertips. I got tired of them going numb from working on somebody for 7 hours, and it's just so much more comfortable and quick. And I probably fall in the category of setting up too many needles per tattoo. I like to have an arsenal just in case. So I can't imagine setting up 6 different tattoo machines for one piece.
Yeah, I keep thinking back to something that kind of was an epiphany moment for me that I had a little while back. And it was, you can have all the machines you want, but that's not necessarily going to make you tattoo any better.
Right.
And it's like, that's something I've really been trying to focus on over the past like couple of years, is just working on technique, just making my tattoos better, cleaner, color more saturated, black and gray blends smoother. And a new machine isn't necessarily going to do that for me. It's learning to use what I have available currently. That's going to be the key, because no matter what machine you pick up, there's going to be guys out there that are doing incredible work with it. So is that really something I need to be messing around with when I've finally gotten into a groove with what I have?
I am such a creature of habit, man. I feel you on that. I mean, I've been using these pens now for a long time. One of them kind of broke down. I sent it to the company. They fixed it, sent it back, and I swear they put a brand new motor in it. I think they put the same motor in it that they use for their newer coil machines. So,
Right.
yeah, it's hard for me to break away from it, but I keep seeing these ads for different ones. Like there's one in particular that looks really awesome. I'm not going to necessarily bring up the name, but they have the ability to switch cans inside. It comes with 3 different cans that you can switch between them, and to get different different
Stroke
effects
lengths?
with the machine. Yeah, different operating effects with the machine.
I have one of those and I can say it's awesome.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I
It's,
never really was into like trying them out before because I always assumed that you needed a special setup to run that particular type of machine, but I guess they don't run off of air like that anymore.
No.
yeah. No, there I would say that that's a pretty awesome machine. I actually just ordered a secondary one with a different stroke length.
Okay. And do you find it that it makes that much of a difference with the
The
hang time
cams
on the needle? Like
with the what?
run it with the hang time on the needle, the rest time, like where it's out of the cartridge and back into the cartridge. They say it's supposed to, like, switching the cams up is better for outlining because you're not going to have that much rest time with the needle outside of the cartridge, so you're getting less snags.
Yeah. Well, I only use pretty much 2 out of the 3 cams. And both of them for pretty specific reasons. And I found that I'm still learning about the process, but the machine itself, like, because I'm still new, I'm still figuring out the cams and stuff. The machine itself though runs very well. I really like that it's punchy. It's got a powerful punch like a coil.
Okay.
But
You know,
yeah.
I found one of the benefits from using the machine that I'm using now, or I guess it would be just about any like straight up rotary with a fixed position cam. I find it like the comparison I've made with other artists and talking to some clients that have questions about it is that it feels more like the difference between using a paintbrush to paint something in and using an airbrush to color something. You know, I feel like this operates more like an airbrush, and then it's more about, I feel like it somehow puts a little bit more of the control in my hands, you know, like, you know, wrist control and things like that. You know, if I need something to, because it's the same every time, right? Like same stroke every single time, it's consistent. And like, you know, when you're using an airbrush and you're pulling back on that trigger, you know, you control how much you want to come out and how much you don't want to come out. Not that you don't get the same thing with a coil, but it varies because of the spring, right? You know, how much resistance am I getting from the skin, from the surface of the canvas? And there's other factors. I feel like this eliminates those variables. Yeah, and it just makes things a little more consistent. So it's up to me how to use, you know, how to use it.
That, my friend, what you just described, believe it or not, coming from a memory that I have of like 7th grade science, all comes back down to the scientific method.
Yeah.
Right. And the scientific method states that if you control all of your variables, right, and you focus on one variable at a time, say that's hand pressure, hand speed, needle hang, whatever, it will allow you to accurately control the outcome of whatever it is you're doing.
There you go. Look at you putting it more eloquently and concisely. I just talked for like 5 minutes rambling. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Dude, I apply that to my life. I apply that to tattoos, to art. And that's part of the reason why I didn't pick up that other machine, even though I'm really curious about it. And I love collecting machines. To me, it's just another variable.
Yeah, that's how I feel like there are more moving parts to it, right? You know?
Yep. And the more moving parts you have and the more adjustments you can make to any machine, the more variables you will have. And the more variables you have, the less control over the outcome you have, even though that's kind of counterintuitive. But it gives you more options than you need. If you learn to use what you have and you control those variables, it's going to make you a better, in my opinion, it's going to allow you to apply a tattoo better in the long run, because you're now focusing instead of on how is this machine focusing or performing better than the last machine I used? How is it different? How is it better? Is it putting in these lines right? Is it putting in those lines right? Is it doing this black and gray right? Is it doing solid color correctly? You know, instead of thinking about that, you're controlling that variable and you're learning to use that to its fullest extent to achieve whatever effect you need.
Stay here, stay on, Joe, get that sticker. Chris, and we're gonna stay outside.
Yeah, I agree.
Then again, that's my own personal opinion. Like, I'm sure there are going to be plenty of people out there that could debate me on that and show me instances where maybe that isn't 100% correct. But, you know, that's something that I've kind of picked up over my years, is that, you know, when you look at a lot of these really, really, really well-known, really incredible artists, they're using the exact same thing every single time.
Yeah.
You know? Look at Bob Tyrell. He, ever since he switched over to using cartridges and a cartridge machine, he only uses one machine. He knows how to use it to do everything he needs to do.
Yeah.
And that's how he controls those variables.
Yeah.
You know, he's not constantly switching up like, oh, I just picked up this one and now I'm going to try this. Oh, now I'm going to try this one. Now I'm going to try this one. This is consistent. It can do everything I need it to do. This is what I'm going to use.
Wait, who's Bob Tyrell?
Exactly. If you don't know who Bob Tyrell is by now and you're still watching, just stop and go and look him up.
God, Bob. I remember the first time I saw his stuff in a magazine, I was just like, what the hell? You can do that?
Yeah, I was blown away. I was like, what kind of witchcraft is this?
So growing up tattooing near Shane was pretty awesome. But then once I realized, like, from, you know, those early, we'll call them tat rags that used to come out, right? Like all the different magazines you could acquire and look stuff up. And I kept seeing the same names come up for like the portrait guys, you know, Renshaw and Shane and Marshall Bennett. All these guys are popping up, you know, Jack Rudy, though, you know, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden Bob Tyrell showed up and it just, his stuff looked different, you know, and all that other stuff. But they, you know, it's funny because I feel like also one of the marks of a really good portrait artist is that, you know, you might be able to tell like a style, but I mean, if you're nailing the portrait, I almost believe like that they should just look like the portrait, right? Like you could have 4 different guys do it. And if all of them nail the portrait, then it might be tough to differentiate who's doing it. Outside of, you know, maybe they're using a certain formula for their ink or something like that. They get a little bit of a different feel, but it should still kind of look like the thing, you know what I mean? Like if you're just doing a copy.
But as you mentioned, even if you sit down and give the same portrait to 4 or 5 different portrait artists, you're still going to have 4 or 5 different effects, right?
Yeah.
Some people's gray tone, maybe some people focus more on contrast, maybe some focus more on texture. Maybe some have, you know, more vibrant white highlights all over the place. Maybe some don't have any white highlights.
Yeah.
You know, maybe some have more of a background. Maybe some have less of a background. So there's still going to be a little bit of a variable there.
Yeah.
Which is something that always blew my mind and fascinated me, even with like more black and gray realism stuff.
Sure. Shout out to Evan Olin with his value approach.
Yes.
You know, how value is way more important than color matching. True story.
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, contrast is going to be number one, what holds the longevity of the tattoo together.
Right.
I think having a good color balance is going to be also, I think that's also a very important thing to understand, you know, and the difference that warm and cool tones play in, you know, creating a mood, creating a scene, or, you know, depicting, say, for example, depicting a mood in a portrait, right?
Yeah.
You have more blues in a portrait as your soft reflective light. It's going to give it a little bit more of a somber tone, you know,
Right.
whereas if you have a bit more of a warm reflective light, it's going to give it a little bit more of like a lively, warmer tone.
Yeah, agree. Well, like then that's when you're starting to play, like, so you start shifting your approach, like you learn the value, right? That's a, you know, that could be helpful to people trying to learn how to do realism and stuff like that, is focus on nailing that value first, right? Like work on the black and gray portions of the tattoo or the drawing first, nail that. Because when you have a really good understanding of how light behaves and how values work against each other and things, then you can start expanding that and working with temperatures and hues and do exactly what you're talking about, you know.
Yes, no, I would agree. I would agree.
But it's conversations like this though, right? That like make us, remind us all about that stuff. We had to figure this out. I mean, we're starting out, it was like trial and error. You had to see things come back and go, well, that didn't work.
Right.
Is on the case.
And then be confident enough to, you know, and humble enough to recognize that and change it and know that you can, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people just get to smelling themselves, you know what I mean? And they're like, no, my shit's awesome and I don't need to change that. And don't ever stop
Yeah, it's like,
trying to learn.
yeah, you can't. And that's I think the big difference between a lot of artists that are out there that have developed what I call a tattitude.
Tattitude, yeah. Little
Right?
tattitude.
Because like
Awesome.
those artists out there that have that tattitude, man, no one wants to be around them.
Nope. We tolerate it. You know, sometimes you work with those people.
Yeah, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, what you're doing right now is cool and all, but like it could be better.
Yeah. Yeah, why would you not ever want to be better at what it is that you're doing? Regardless, like my client was just saying, you know, it goes with any business. You can apply that to anything, you know. Start working around somebody that thinks that they know everything, and you know immediately that you're going to go past them. I mentioned it before that I always forget the exact verbiage of it, but that hard work and practice and hard work beats talent every time or something like that.
In the long run, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a slow burn, but
Well, and that goes back to a quote I recently read, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to become a master painter or a master welder or a master plumber overnight.
right.
You know, that's not feasible unless you've got some kind of like weird Ricardo skill, but
I'm perfect.
I'm trying to get
so-
my laptop logged into the Zoom, dude. I'm sorry.
you want me to email you the Zoom link?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I hate to take away from. Wait, I think I might
Hey.
have it. Hold on. Yeah, definitely. Wait,
Yeah.
I think I got it.
Yes, it's true. Lonnie Hospital was overrun with raccoons.
All right.
So we had to go to the next hospital. I'm sorry. Did you expect me to give birth to you in an infested, disease-filled room?
Oh, that's awesome. Those are all of her pets. Yeah, see what's right there.
They're all gone.
Oh wow.
Hey, Medusa.
Good.
Medusa. Medusa.
Oh, is that
You walked away for a second.
Yeah. Medusa.
But back.
Oh, hi. Welcome back.
Glad you could join us.
Can you zoom in on that picture? The one you're working on?
The painting I'm working on.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was in trouble because as soon as I put my headphones back on and unmuted, you're like Medusa.
Holy shit.
Awesome.
Oh, that's rad.
That's
And is
fucking
that-
sick.
Has anyone like claimed that? Is that up for grabs?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Because
That's
that's
great.
spectacular.
Thank you. Been looking at a lot of branches for references.
Oh,
Staring
yeah.
at a lot of trees. So
Very nice.
Looks
thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
I kind of put black in a spot where I don't want there to be black. So trying to figure out how to undo that. I also did it on completely the wrong paper. It started out as a ballpoint pen illustration, and then I started painting, forgetting the fact that it's on sketch paper. So, but
Ooh,
whatever. I don't mind a little wrinkle. It'll be fine.
yeah, you got this.
Yeah, I notoriously start projects on the wrong materials because it's originally on the right material. I was doing a ballpoint pen illustration and everything, but then I decided that I wanted to paint these branches instead of sketch them. So it turned into the wrong material. But that's kind of how all of my artwork is. It's a pretty consistent habit of mine. So I'm just going to work with it.
One thing you can do if you wanted to give that paper a bit more resilience to the paint, believe it or not, take the paper and gesso the back of it.
Gesso the back of it. That works on sketch paper?
It works on just about anything.
Shit. I should do that. I don't know where my gesso is. I'm not gonna do it
It's
right
going to make
now.
it a lot more resilient. It's going to make it a bit less absorbent, but it's really going to help the longevity of the paint.
Will it help flatten or would it actually probably permanentify the wrinkles?
It should help flatten because gesso is water-based. It does thin
Oh
out.
yeah. Okay.
So it will probably relax the paper. And if you put it in between blotter paper, or even just like, say, a couple of pieces of like newspaper, right? And that once it's like kind of dry, but not really tacky anymore, you should be able to go through and use a weight like on top of it. Or, you know, if you're like me and you happen to have an uneven table, you can usually use that with like something bigger on top of it to press down on it evenly. And that should help smooth everything out. That's one way to do it. I would also thin out the gesso a little bit because you don't need a whole lot of it. You don't need to put it on super thick like you're painting on canvas. You just need a little bit of it. So I would thin that out, use that on the back so that it gets soaked in. Unless you're
Right.
not trying to really like get the paper that wet anymore.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think I'm gonna reassess the situation when I finish it and see how I feel, because also framing it might just flatten it out too. There's a good enough backing.
That definitely would work. Yeah.
And also there's like the ironing option where you just put a towel above over it and kind of iron it out, which I've heard of a lot of people doing with a pretty good amount of success. But I'm gonna burn that bridge when I get to it. Right now,
There
I'm
you go.
just enjoying it. This is a non-work related art, and I don't have a lot of time to do non-work related stuff. So I'm just gonna enjoy this.
Absolutely.
I've been stretching a canvas for the first time, doing like a very ambitious project coming up.
Yeah. Stretching your own canvas is definitely a learning experience if you've never done it before.
I've never done it.
Oh,
Thankfully, I have fun.
I stretch my own canvas, but it's usually just in the shower.
Oh.
Do it
He's
where you
got
can keep
all
it
the
clean.
jokes today,
Keep it
folks.
clean. Keep it clean.
No, never
Well, that's why you're in
clean.
the shower.
Always dirty.
That's right.
Windows.
Some people are in the house of the Lord right now, and the rest of us are here. It's
I
Sunday.
guarantee anybody out there works with me, like Jason. We're doing that collab in November, and I guarantee you 2 hours in, you and the client will be sick and tired of my terrible jokes and dad joke humor. And
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I always thought we had the same sense of humor.
a terrible one, wonderful.
Yeah, we're probably going to be
Our poor
feeding off of
client
each
is
other the
gonna be-
entire time.
Our poor client.
Yeah, she'll get over it.
No. That's awesome.
Oh, flat areas of black and gray painting into ink wash. How you elude me.
Are you doing that part black and gray and part color?
Yes. Yeah, I was debating on whether or not I wanted to do like red waves. I thought that would be cool, but I think I'm just going to stick with like black and gray for the waves and keep it a bit more traditional.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But I mean, the black and gray isn't like super dark just yet. So I may still go back through and use like a bright red and do that. But I want to get like a bit more contrast in the waves first.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Good plan.
You paint the bottom, the belly of the shark? Or is that going to stay that like open?
I'll probably add a little bit of like tan or pink to the
I
bottom
was
of
just
it.
going to say pink. Yeah, like a peach would be badass.
Yeah, just to help like balance out some of the cooler green tones.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really love like when like the earth tones and stuff like that, man. Like combination of those things. You use a lot of that stuff. It looks so rad.
Yeah, right now my primary focus is just on contrast, just getting a little bit of value in some of these waves. Yeah, where's the smaller brush? There we go. These little travel brushes, man, I swear they've become the lifeblood of my existence.
Travel brushes.
Yeah, the Esconda Prado travel brushes.
Oh yeah, those you were showing us those before they unclick and stuff. You gotta
Yeah,
text me
they
the name of
just
that.
slide right out and you can slide them right back into the handle.
Yeah, you gotta text me that, bud. Please.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. And so the pack I got comes with 3 different sizes: small, big, and medium. Right. So it's
Hell
a
yeah,
number
my
2
dude.
round, a number 6 round, and a number 10.
That's cool. I want.
And it's got some nice stiff bristles. They've got a lot of snap to them. They're not the most absorbent when it comes down to working with like liquid media. I almost think they have like a waxy coating on the bristles, but you know, you learn how to use them and you learn how much water they can hold and best ways to use them. And you can do whole paintings with just those 3 brushes. You have to cover a large area and blend out a large area. You just take it back on its side and use more of the bristles themselves to kind of like, you know, really drag out whatever it is you're doing.
Hell yeah, my dude.
Those things look sick.
Yeah, they were a little bit pricey, but I beat the hell out of my brushes and these things have kept going. So, I mean, I have nothing at all bad to say about them.
I do not own one single nice paintbrush. I learned very quickly that it's better for me financially to just get used to working with lower quality and cheaper paintbrushes because I do not take care of any of my supplies very well, and I lose everything.
Well,
Gotta have a-
that makes sense.
a designated art area for the first time in my fucking life. So now I'm actually not losing shit as much, but I have that same problem.
Oh, dude, not having a designated art area, like if you don't live by yourself, like if you have roommates or are in a really small apartment, you know, it sucks because you have to use whatever space you can as an art space, and sometimes that means you're like me and on the couch.
I sit right here at my computer desk. That's why I've been going to the warehouse to do art instead of being here at home.
Is a warehouse, well, at the warehouse you can do art socially too, right?
Yeah, you got people coming in and out.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I get more done when I'm on these Zoom calls than ever on my own, because I feel like I'm kept on track when I'm being socially active versus when I'm by myself. I wander off into another room, I get distracted.
It's being on the horn with other artists while you're making art, or being in the same room as them, like on this art. You have like little art nights and stuff like that. It just, I think for me, I agree with you, Medusa. It helps keep you like accountable and keeps it moving. And it's fine to take breaks and stuff, but that's why I love doing seminars, because it's like everything just constantly keeps moving along. You know, step back after an hour or so, and then you're right back into it. You know what I mean? You're not stepping back and going, I can come back to it later on tonight. I'm gonna fuck off for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you want to. It's not like necessarily a compete thing so much as it is like an inspiration.
I like the accountability thing too.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're being held accountable for what you're working on. That's what we do, right? Hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And have a good
Because,
time
God,
with it.
me on my own, no accountability. I will work on a project for maybe about 30 seconds and then be all like, oh, look at my dog, he's so cute, I have to go take 20 pictures of him and then play with him for a little while, and I'll be like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna make dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna turn on this movie while I make dinner, then I'm getting involved in the movie.
Working in the same room as my guitars does not
Yeah,
help.
that's never a good idea.
I'm just like, I'll put it down for a little bit, and then you got to wash your hands because I'm working with oil paints. I only get them on the guitar or anything like that. Well, I might as well take advantage. My hands are clean now, so I'll just play for a little while.
I was trying to work and do some like
2
video
hours
editing
later,
the
2
other
hours,
day.
2 hours
Yeah.
later,
And then I turn around and grab the guitar for half an hour, and 2 hours later, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I started setting timers. Actually, I just started this like maybe about 3 days ago. So what I like to do is in the morning or the night before, I'll plan out my goals for the day, like, and try to keep it realistic, like write down maybe about 5 things I want to get done or accomplish, but put a star by 2 of them and feel like these are the 2 that actually matter. So that if I don't get all 5 things done, but I did get those 2 done, I'll be like, all right, I still did the shit. Anyways, I have been adding times that I allow myself to work on things for me. Like, all right, I can work on my own art project for 30 minutes. Then I got to go do laundry for 60 minutes. Then I can come back and I have 30 minutes again for my own thing. And then having a timer go off can be both a threat and keep you motivated.
It's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I like the threatening part because it's always on my mind. So if I'm starting to get distracted while working on something, I'd be like, okay, but I only have this 30 minutes. And if I waste that 30 minutes playing with my dog and then making dinner and turning on a movie, I'm not making art. So I got to spend those 30 minutes making that art. So it's almost like threatening myself that this is like the chance to do it.
It's like a step counter for art,
Yeah.
right? Like I get my
Yeah.
steps in today. You know?
Yep. And I don't know, it's also been kind of fun too, because I know that I'm on the clock. So I'm kind of competing with myself to see what I can get done in a certain amount of time too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which turns it into like a fun game because I love to compete with everybody. Everything is a competition. And if you say otherwise, you're just being a loser.
See, I'm one of those people where I like to set my alarms whenever I'm working on something, not because I tend to get distracted, but because otherwise I won't get anything else done. And I'll just stay on that one thing all day long. Right. And that's not very productive.
No, that's a really good idea too. Another good reason to use timers.
Yeah, it's like whenever I set up to oil paint, I've learned very quickly I cannot oil paint at all after 10 p.m.
Oh really? I feel like I'm
Nope.
the most effective after 10 p.m. Everything's
The reason
quiet,
why I say that,
nothing
the
on
reason
TV.
why I say that is because if I start at 10, I'm gonna go until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, yeah. And then be junked the next day.
You know,
That's
I'm not gonna stop until 3 o'clock.
yeah, that's how I go. I hit get that.
So-
second win.
So I've limited myself. I can do oil painting from say 7 or 8 or whenever I get home at night, usually around 9. If I start at 9, I'll get done by 2 and that's okay. Right. But if I start at 10, I'm not done until 3 and that's not good.
Right. You know, one of my favorite things, and I don't think anybody that is on this right now is into sports whatsoever, but just since we're just talking about art, and as long and boring as the game is, you know, I'm a Philly fan, so I listen to all the sports there, but the stop yourself. Just baseball in general. Baseball, yeah. I'll put a baseball game on the radio, and I mean it's like jazz, like it's like listening to a podcast or something like that. I can just I just zone out, you know, before I know it, 4 hours has gone by. And it's also a good timer because, you know, there's going to be an end in sight somewhere.
So I used to do that a lot with my tattoo sessions. I used to put on movies for my clients and I would time our sessions based on the number of movies.
Yeah.
Right. So like average movie is what, 90 minutes? Maybe 120?
2 hours, yeah.
So 120 minutes, 2 movies, that's 4 hours worth of work. You take a break after the first movie, get the second one
Right.
queued up, stretch your eyes, stretch your back, you know, grab a little bite to eat, put on the second movie, work for another 2 hours. When that movie is done, your time is done.
Right.
I really dig that. Another thing that I like to do as far as timing things goes is, hold on, let me see if I can move this camera real quick.
I like to do my tattoos to adult movies. That way I get about 15 minutes done at a time.
Eh,
Yeah, that's if you watch the whole thing, dude. I never last past the first third of it.
yeah.
You make it to a third?
Yeah, I know
15
it's surprising, but
15
listen,
minutes.
over quarantine, I hit page 6,792 on one of the most well-known adult sites. Okay. After
Oh my
that,
goodness.
I have seen everything. Nothing
I'm like,
surprises
he's
me
like, if it
anymore.
doesn't involve a crocodile and a bear, I'm not into it.
Yeah, even
I
that
understand
stuff is
that
kind
one.
of like, okay, is this another moose video? I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
The moose is where you draw the line. That's like,
Yeah, it's they just don't do
been
it for
there,
me.
been there, done that, you know?
I mean, I did
So-
live in Alaska for a couple of years, so
You know, watching live concerts is rad too. Like tattooing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What I was going to say earlier is that I've got this record collection and record player behind me. And I like to time things with records.
There you go.
You know,
Nice.
the getting up to flip the record is my physical break where I got to get up and stretch my legs. But as soon
Oh,
as
yeah.
the music starts, I got to get back to work. And, you know, solid records, maybe an hour, hour and a half long. That's a good amount of time.
Good way to do it.
I do
Yeah.
that, but with songs on my playlist. So like I know an average song is like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that just gave me a great idea.
What's the great idea?
So back when I was in college in art school, we used to do these things called power hours, right? You would take 60 songs, chop them down into 1 minute segments, and have them go back to back to back. And when the playlist was done, the hour was done, right? So you could set up something like that where it's, you know, more or less like a power hour or power 2 hours of tattooing. You know, but have like the song change every minute or every 2 minutes.
That would drive me crazy.
Yeah,
You can't finish the song. None
Oh
of the
my God.
songs ever get finished. Imagine if it changes right in the middle of the chorus you're singing.
See, that's
along with.
exactly what I would do with that though, is put an hour together of all the greatest songs that I like and shit, but then put in the best parts and then cut it off right as it's about to drop.
You're evil. That's
Just to
rude.
mess with
But
me.
hey,
Just
but the
because you
last
can.
one does drop. The last
It's
one
good.
does. Okay.
Warren, yeah, like Warren.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
evil AF.
His cover album is one of my favorites.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that's kind of adapting it from a drinking game.
Like compilations.
I remember singing.
So
Drinking games and work ethics work one and the same.
Yeah.
It's not true.
yeah, every time the song changed during the power hour, you were supposed to take a shot of beer.
There is difference.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Sounds like a
Which doesn't sound like a lot because you're like, oh, it's one shot.
No, that can
Right?
get exciting.
Every 3 seconds.
yeah. Well, I
But
mean, like
every
with
six-
beer. But
Yeah.
yeah, if it's every few seconds, nobody's drinking their beer every couple of seconds, even normally.
Right.
Yeah, there's you take a sip or a gulp and then you wait a couple of minutes while you're having conversations with your friends.
I don't know. I like to keep them within the span of a cigarette. Personally.
She's like, oh man, my cigarette's almost done. Guys, hold on a second. I gotta pound the rest of this beer.
Is literally what I'll end up doing sometimes. It's a horrible habit that I've ended up creating time.
That is dangerous, my dude.
Yeah,
Dangerous.
whatever you do, do not do a power hour with anything other than beer. Been there,
These rookies
done
in their
that, and
beer.
it didn't. I didn't make it.
Dude,
I was face
gotta
down after a half hour.
Drink tequila like
Thank-
us old.
the worst time of my life. No, not the worst time of my life. Probably in like the top 10 worst moments of my life, though, is trying to play beer pong, but instead of with beer, Mad Dog 2020.
Oh,
Oh,
Bling
That
bling
sounds
bling
terrible.
raspberry flavored because it's got the gold chain on the bottle.
Bringing it back to the Boone's Farm days.
I'll take my old English 800 any day of the week.
you need
You're
to like
old
bring
age.
some back or
I went
something.
with Raw Mickey's. I couldn't drink any of that malt liquor shit, man. It was just, I don't even
Dude.
really care for beer that much.
So one of the things that me and my disgusting friends, what we used to like to do is we would take a 40 of malt liquor, like Mickey's or Oldie or something, and drink it to the top of the label and then fill the rest of it up with Sparks. You remember the Sparks energy alcoholic beverages? Yeah, and then what that's called is a sidewalk slam because you get drunk enough to slam into the sidewalk.
I would definitely do it.
Yeah, fun in your party days and all of that, but I'm in my 30s now and my knees hurt and I am tired and I want to go to bed.
Right?
I never want to do that again.
Do you find video games fitness and stopping more stupid?
can't get much art done when you're drinking like that.
You really can't.
No.
I mean, you
Cannot.
can, but the quality will be varied.
And it'll be in jail.
Maybe.
I tried to rally for a buddy of mine that came to town, and I fucking couldn't do it. I was like, dude, I'm gonna go home.
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, Ricardo, turn the volume on your microphone up. We could barely hear you.
Got, I think Seth's background TV is pretty loud.
Oh, sorry. Here you go.
What did you say, Ricardo?
Hang on. No, I was just saying I couldn't rally. I couldn't rally last night. I tried to hang out with a buddy of mine, but I just came home and went to bed. That's all I said. There was nothing important.
Oh. What
Yeah.
time did you go to bed?
Me?
Yeah.
9, 8:30.
On a
I try to
Saturday
aim
night,
for
no, you
10.
really couldn't rally.
Well, yeah,
Right.
but Ricardo's also up at like the butt crack of dawn every day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you're waking up at 4:30 now, aren't you?
Yeah. You know what? I just switched my schedule up so I can start waking up a little bit later. I didn't see any real point in waking up that early anymore. So I'm switching my schedule around where I go in at 11 instead of 9 a.m.
That's cool.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. Waking up at 4 a.m. That's when a lot of people I know are going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like me when I'm oil painting after 10 o'clock.
Well, that's why we don't oil paint after 10.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
you
had
know
to
what
set a
I
hard
know.
limit with that.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
When it
Cool.
also helped that Seth turned off his TV. So
Damn it, Seth. Damn it, Seth. Can I get your guys' opinion on this real quick? I'm feeling like this might be a little bottom heavy, but I'm
yeah,
not
let me
sure.
Go
spotlight
for
you.
it.
So I gotta finish this part up here at the top, but
I
Yeah,
don't
I'd
think it's
throw a
bottom
few
heavy.
other darker leaves at the top because you're absolutely correct. Right now it is a bit bottom heavy as far as the contrast goes.
mhm,
I like the clarity at the top, but I think it needs more dark.
yeah.
I
Okay,
agree
cool.
with that.
Like up
Damn,
here.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Right in that area, kind of branching
Yeah.
off of some of those existing dark leaves. I
Like
just
over
add a
here.
couple more and I think that would balance it right out.
All right, cool.
Ricardo, the center near the this where the petals dip in, I would go like on the top flower, the top 3 petals as it curves in to the center there, make that just a little bit darker.
Okay.
And then that shadow on the petals on the bottom where it like hoods over a little bit,
Mm.
because then you get that the top of that petal is just so bright, like it'll stick right out. You know what I mean? It's over the darkest part of the piece. I think just a little more contrast in there.
Right
Like,
here.
yeah, right in there. And then the bottom flower where the leaves cup over the petals. Yeah, right in there should be a little bit dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's killer though, man. It's got such good movement. And I love
Yeah.
those little leaves, man. Those little kind of like tendrils that come off.
Mhm,
Yeah,
cool.
very nice. Yeah, it looks so
Thank you.
light, man. Looks like soft. Love it.
Yeah, I'm trying to work with that. You know what I mean? Like, I want there to be some line work, but I want these next few to be like real soft and airy. Like not where it's thin lined and everything's gonna disappear after a little while. I want it to have some kind of substance where it'll
Yeah, hell
stay
yeah.
looking good for a long time. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
dude.
throw one up for some critique as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Let me spotlight you.
So I feel like this bottom corner over here gets a little lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Could be wrong.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. Maybe a little
Yeah.
bit of texture on the heart too. Like, don't be afraid to build up. It's just it I feel like you get good contrast on the bottom part there, and the top part where it flips over. You know, that hard highlight, but it's all very smooth.
Right.
So like maybe something to kind of, and the background's real soft, so maybe something to kind of add some texture to where the detail is.
Okay.
I think if you wash that top, our right corner out just a little bit more too. Like if we do a
Yeah,
wash
because
over
that's
that
standing out
background
like a
part.
sore thumb. I completely agree with Ricardo
Yeah,
on
the
that.
top right corner, just wash.
Talking like just this little piece up here.
Yeah, just do like a, medium wash over the whole thing and just kind of
Right.
dampen it a little bit, like on a new layer or something. But yeah, I think if that piece was almost just like a little bit more to the left, to the direct left of it, of where it's at now,
Mhm.
I think that'd be almost perfect though. Or maybe enlarge that heart just a little bit more even.
Right. A little too much like extra space hanging around.
Yeah,
I mean, I would just crop off some of like a
Right.
smidge of the left side.
yep,
Right.
that's even better idea, yeah. Just duplicate it, and then like crop it off and keep that original.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Duplicate the document itself before you crop anything. The reason behind that is because once you crop the canvas, it's going to crop every single layer below it.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. Oh my God, I've made that mistake so many times. I
We
don't
all have.
learn from that mistake.
What was that again?
I never learned from the mistake of forgetting to do a new layer. And then I just have
Not
and
a
then
new
just
layer.
one big mess.
Duplicate the whole document.
Oh
The
yeah,
Right,
whole-
right, yeah.
but the mistake when you do
Yes.
draw on the long
When I'm
wrong
drawing on the
layer,
wrong layer and it's like,
oh
oh,
God,
okay.
that happens
This
like
it's
4
like this
times
just
a
became a
week.
regular painting then fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens maybe 4 times a week for me or more. I've started locking layers that I'm done with
Mhm.
so that I can't accidentally tap over and switch to those.
Yep.
Mm.
Locking layers saves your ass sometimes.
I gotta start working with more layers, dude. I always just treat it like a piece of paper or canvas.
See, I got so used to working with so many different layers because I would always find myself having to go back through and like, okay, well, now I need to readjust all of this, but I can't because it's all on the same layer. All right, let me redraw the whole thing. And it's like, so I just got so used to being like, oh, working on a different part, new layer. Working on a different thing, new layer. Oh, need to go back through and adjust this layer, duplicate the layer, hide the old one, and adjust the new one. So I'm always adding more and more and more and more layers. And my personal philosophy is you can never have too many. That's
Procreate
just my
thinks you
thinking.
can. Procreate thinks you can have too many layers.
Well, so there's a way around that. And that is to work at a higher resolution, but a smaller physical size. Right? So if I'm working on a design and I want it to be really, really clear at, say, 8x12, right? 8x12 at 300 DPI is going to be the same as 4x6 at 600 DPI, right?
Okay.
So it's going to give you the same number of pixels, but it's going to allow you to do more layers.
Okay.
And I mean, I haven't yet reached a point. I think I did with like a couple of individual digital paintings that I was working on a canvas that was pretty big. I think 13x19, but it was at 300 DPI. I think that's the only time I've ever run into the issue of not having enough layers. But I'm averaging something like 50 layers per image. So, I mean, that's just something I found helpful.
Yeah, I'll have to try that for sure.
Yeah.
Because I end up running into that issue more often than not where I have too many layers and then I have to go through and do some cleaning and be like, why do I still have these sketches from like 10 hours ago?
So the other way that you can preserve all those layers and still keep things pretty organized, if you are going to go through and do some layer cleanup, duplicate the entire document and then merge layers together, right?
Yeah.
And get rid of a lot of other layers so that way you still have those other layers that you can adjust. They're just in the other document.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea too.
So, I mean, once again, these are all just things that I found to be very helpful. Tiny little hacks that to me can make or break anything being done digitally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and since I'm one of those people where I'm very, very, very rarely, if ever, satisfied with anything I do, I'm always tweaking layers. Sometimes it means hunting down the individual document I was working on that has those layers. And that can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but overall, it usually saves my ass in the end if I have to adjust something.
Yeah, I like doing the extra layers and being careful. I use it like a save point, like a video game, basically.
Exactly.
There's been a few times where I'm like, oh, I want to play with this and like change this entire shape. I'm like, but I don't want to lose where I'm at. So then I'll just I put everything into groups. I'll be like, here's the group for the jaw and the bird or whatever. And here's a group for the eye. And then I'll just duplicate that and then play with it that way too.
Absolutely. Grouping things together can really be another one of those things that can just really save your ass in the end, especially if you get into the habit of labeling those groups. You always know where to find that individual section. Left wing, right wing, beak, forehead, left arm, right arm, left leg, fur, or, scales or whatever. Or now it's color layer. Now it's outside flowers or outside leaves. So it just helps hunting down that specific part that you want to adjust far, far easier.
Yeah, I worked with Photoshop when I was much younger, and I developed that layer philosophy at a very young age. So when I got into Procreate, I was like, oh, this is fucking easy.
Right?
Like the exact same shit. Because the last time I used Photoshop, I think it was like CS2.
Yeah, I still use Photoshop for certain things, more like vector-based stuff, large like canvas banners and stuff like that for conventions. I'll still go through Photoshop with that because to me, it's going to have the processing power I need to get those images as big as I need them at the right resolution, and I can, since I grew up with Photoshop and I know it so well, to me, it's like my safety point. It's my fallback. So if I need to do something and I need to do it very, very quickly, or if I go through and I need to make something bigger than I think I can do on Procreate, I just go straight to Photoshop.
Yeah.
Or if I have to do anything with like typeface or logo design or anything like that, Photoshop or Illustrator, one of the two.
Used to love doing web design on Photoshop because you could put a nice little interface together and then slice it up and have all the basic coding already done for you.
Right? Yeah, Photoshop was a godsend when I was back doing like graphic design and digital design stuff. It saved my butt.
Save your butt. Save your butt. Save your butt.
Always. Yeah, Amber's still in the YouTube comments. She's still listening along. She's got a couple of comments She said, all the sinners are busy praying. Back when we were talking about people that weren't in this, were probably in some type of place of worship. Then she said, Philly, Philly. And I didn't go to bed until 4-ish either.
Damn, dog. Party animal. Hard tie.
I shouldn't be talking about staying up late so much. I was probably in bed and settled in for the night at around like 7 or 8 myself. I stayed up
Really?
late, but I was definitely checked out for the rest of the day pretty early.
All right. Let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
Do you guys do your best to stay off of social media at night, or do you stay on swiping through a bunch of stuff? And then what do you do up in the mornings? Is that one of the first things you do is check your social media, or do you guys leave it alone?
I spend way too much time scrolling in bed at night, so that's a bad habit. First thing in the morning, though, I am trying to start practicing not doing emails or social media or screen time until after I've done like a menial task or had my coffee or started my day.
Right.
Because I don't want, I read somewhere that starting your day, like first thing by going on to social media or checking emails and stuff, is starting your day with potential stress.
Oh yeah.
And you should start your day doing something you enjoy, like sipping coffee or taking your dog on a walk, to set the mood for the day. So today actually was the first time, not the first time ever, but today I did not check social media first thing when I got up.
Yeah, I stay off of social media in all forms in the evenings, unless I have to communicate with a client. Maybe I'm confirming an appointment or sending a draft or replying to someone trying to set something up. I am not scrolling. I am not doing anything of that nature. I am only on there for communication, and then I put it right back down and I don't scroll. I don't check anything. The evenings are my time to draw and prep for the next day. That's just kind of the way that I've gotten used to doing things. But in the morning when I wake up and I'm eating breakfast, first breakfast for me, which is usually second breakfast for a lot of people that wake up a little bit earlier. But for me, breakfast in the morning, that's when I check my email. That's when I check Instagram and Facebook messages and get back to people, because at that point in time, I'm sitting there doing nothing but eating breakfast anyway. I might as well be productive. But I usually try to limit social media engagement in the evenings, bar none, without hesitation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start doing that too. It's driving me kind of crazy lately.
Yeah, unless I get like a DM or something, I'm off of it. Like I'm not gonna really sit down and scroll at all. If I am gonna scroll for like inspiration or something like that, I try to keep it in the middle of the day when I know I'm gonna be busy. Just because that way I've got an excuse to get off of it pretty quickly if I have to.
Yeah,
It's just something that I found to be helpful.
good deal. Good deal, man.
And I would love to tattoo this on someone.
Put it out there.
Oh, I will. Once it's done, I will. I'm the kind of person where like I don't like posting drafts of stuff unless it's to a point where it's only ever supposed to be a draft. just because I know that if it's in draft form, I can probably do better. And I don't want to mislead people and be like, oh, here's the quick little sketch I did. Probably going to change it quite a bit though. So don't expect to get this design, but this is something I can do. To me, it's almost like false advertising. That, and I only really want to put my my best work out there. So. Yeah. Wow. Ever since Seth turned off his microphone, it's gotten super quiet.
He was carrying all the noise.
Ripping into this tattoo, man.
Right on. Working all black and gray today?
No, actually, color black and gray after. My afternoon client is the one I was doing a couple weeks ago with the kids walking through the woods there. This one is a color portrait of a dog.
Nice.
A lot of black and gray, but there is some color in there. So I'll show you guys in a little bit.
Yep. Oh, cool. Well, we are getting to be about that time again, everyone. Seth, I know you've got your gloves off, so I figured now would be an appropriate time to go through and do some sign-offs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll show you what I'm working on real quick.
Cool.
1 second. Should we get the electrical tape for the nipples? Yeah. Mark the nipples. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, let's keep it PG there, Seth. Aw. Love that feathering along the side too, man.
Thanks. Come back a little bit. A little ways to go. Flip this around. My name's Seth Mushrush. You can find me on Instagram by my full name, or my website, sethmushrushart.com. I work in Baker Street Tattoo in Philadelphia and the Concord Tattoo Gallery in Massachusetts. Available for appointments at both. Or just hit me up with an email, mushrushart@gmail.com. Thanks for having me, and I'll see you guys soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
See you later.
And we'll go to Kyle.
Sure. I'm Kyle the intern. You can find me at Skies of Fire Tattoo on Instagram, as well as the Tattoo Collecting 101 podcast here on Reinventing.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pat, we'll go to you next.
My name is Pat Mackey. You can catch me on Instagram at Brogan Tattoos. And here's where I got with this raven real quick.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Very
So
cool.
it's starting to come together.
Love the texture in it, man.
Thank you.
Digging it.
Super rad.
Love those long, smooth gradients you have in there as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to keep it kind of simple with the shading.
Yeah. Cool. Medusa, we'll go to you next.
Hello, my name is Medusa, and I am on Instagram at Medusa Slays with 3 S's at the end. And also my website, medusaslays.com. And those are the 2 places you can reach me and find my stuff.
Awesome. Thank you very much for tuning in today. And Ricardinho.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Ricardo Sturdivant. You can reach me on Instagram at Ricardo Sturdivant. That's pretty easy. You can also catch me here on Tuesday mornings on Tuesday Feels. Every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Or 10
10
a.m.
a.m.
Eastern. I'm
Eastern.
sorry. 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Eastern. Yeah. So hit me up. Let's do some fun stuff. Check out some flowers.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
And as always, I'm Jason Leeser. Thanks for tuning in today. Always appreciate all the people that make comments. Amber, we'll get you on here one day whenever you hit me up and I can start sending you Zoom links. Everyone else, thanks for watching. If you like today's content, if you like today's show, please go through, leave a positive comment on our channel. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know that you really enjoyed it. If you didn't, that's cool. Feel free to email all issues you might have to management@reinventingthetattoo.com. And thank you everyone for jumping into the Zoom today. Take care, keep those hands busy, keep them drawing, painting, tattooing, whatever you need to do. And we will catch you next week. So from all of us here, cheers.